Shalom. I want to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Halo Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. And I just kind of wanted to jump into Second Chronicles. I was reading, and it talks about Asa, Jehoshaphat. It talks about who else? Ahaziah. Well, he did what was wicked, but all these kings, it always talks about what they did right in the eyes of the Lord. So I guess I'll start off with Asa. Asa did what was good and right in the eyes of Yahweh. His power, he took away the foreign altars, the high places, broke down the pillars, and cut down Asherim. He commanded Judah to seek Yahweh, the power of their fathers, and to keep the law, statutes, commands. He also took out of all the cities, the high places, the incense, the altars, and everything. And every time they were in distress, they cried out to the Heavenly Father, and he brought relief and deliverance and everything. And you could go into Jehoshaphat. He walked in the earlier ways of his father David. He did not seek the Baals, but sought the power of his father and walked in his commandments and not according to the practices of Israel, what they were doing at that time. They had Asherim, they had other gods, and they had altars of incense, and they're sacrificing to them. And what he did, it says his heart was courageous. His heart was courageous in the ways of Yahweh. Furthermore, he took the high places, the Asherim, out of Judah. He appointed teachers. He appointed teachers throughout all of the land of Judah to teach the word properly, and he did what was right in the eyes of the Heavenly Father. And you know, there's more, but there's a point to it. And what they always did too was here. What they always did too was they started repairing the temple. They would take those idols out of the temple. They would take those altars of burning incense out of the temple. They'd start rebuilding the temple. Uh, they'd start assigning a Levitical priest in their order to start doing the work properly. Um, and that's what I want to talk about. The temple are the people, the true followers of Mashiach. And just like in the book of Revelations, chapter 11, he gave John a reed to measure the temple, and the stones that he was measuring, or if you will, are the people, and that rod was to see whether they measured up to the scriptures or not. And throughout all this, it was what was wicked in the eyes of the Lord. They tolerated the Asherim, they tolerated other gods and idols and altars for burning incense. And I looked at them on the internet. What it was like a stone tablet and like a picture, a modern day picture, a framed picture. It's like a stone tablet with the carvings of an image of a god, and they'd sit there and burn incense to it. And so taking out those idols and all those things out of the temple, I think is important, because when you worship Christ, you're actually worshiping two gods. I think it's Osiris and the bull Apis. Serapis, he's the Christ, and you're actually worshiping a bull god, the bull god Apis. And I just wanted to share that. And I want to touch more on that immaculate deception thing. You know what I mean? Eternal damnation is false, and that immaculate conception thing's wrong. Because when you talk about Paul, there's certain men, Hymenaeus and Alexander, who Paul, he said, whom I have delivered unto Satan, that they may learn not to blaspheme Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. And it's true, because they were teaching that the resurrection already happened. But, in their mind, I'm sure in their spirit, they were right. They were correct. They were, So, I mean, I'm sure if you keep on trying to teach that immaculate conception thing and you argue with Paul, I bet you Paul over time, would say, deliver such a person unto Satan. So that way, he may learn not to blaspheme the, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, and that eternal damnation thing, that is a lie, because again, a lot of people they don't go into the history, which I need to do more. Again, I'm not at these guys' level to teach, but I know truth when I hear it. Um, but yeah, they use that Lazarus and Abraham's bosom thing, and the rich man crying out to Abraham, "Send Lazarus to dip his finger in water, so he may touch my tongue and give me some relief." And Abraham said, "Nah, there's this." But honestly, if you notice, there's no lake of fire in there, and it's so you can't really take it literal. If you do take it, you got to take the whole thing literal. So that we're going to be comforted by Abraham, or all the rich people are going to be destroyed, and only poor people are going to be delivered. Which so you got to take the whole thing literal now. And honestly, like I think Abraham, he's the father of many nations and everything like that. Mainly the Israelites, so that's probably symbolic of the Heavenly Father. And you know, Lazarus, he's the church, the followers of Hamashiach, because again, Abraham, he was an example in the past when he had Isaac with him. He put Isaac on that altar to sacrifice his son, and that was, kind of tell people what was going to happen in the future. The Heavenly Father sent his son so that way he could die to the flesh and be raised again on the third day. And, so that's the way I look at it. And again, like Moses, they said, he told his people like he'd be like a god unto Pharaoh. You know what I mean? He's not God, but I mean, it was an example. And Joshua, that name is Yahweh Shai. So he was the right hand man to Moses and delivered his people. You know what I mean? Brought him into the promised land. So it's all spiritual, and that's personally what I think. And again, like you could look at it, and reincarnation is real. You know what I mean? So if you're teaching eternal damnation and immaculate conception, I bet you, Paul, I think, if you keep insisting on doing that or teaching that, he's going to say, deliver such a person unto Satan that he may learn not to blaspheme. All right. Because again, like there's a lot of things that are kind of corrupt, like that cross. That goes to Tammuz. There's no evidence of any earlier followers of Hamashiach, what people call Christians. The early followers of Hamashiach, they never carried that banner. So what banner are you carrying? You're carrying the banner of Tammuz. And you keep insisting on calling the Heavenly Father Christ. You're calling on the bull Apis, a combination of two gods. And you know, it's just personally what I think, what I feel. And the only reason why I brought up this temple thing is because the temple is the true followers of Hamashiach, street corners. They're on street corners, grassroots. It's a great millstone. And, you know, that's why, he had that rod. He was measuring the temple, see if they measured up to the scriptures. And again, it's spiritual, it's symbolic, just like Yahweh Shai. He said, the cornerstone, or the stone that the builders rejected, has become the chief cornerstone. you know. And I heard somebody even say, if you're building a temple, you have to have the corners, the cornerstones. You build the corners and build, So, and I just wanted to share that real quick, and I only mention that because I hear everybody say, "Oh, defense of Israel, the defense of Israel," and that's why, like, Israel scattered abroad, and they're here, and so. That's what I'm saying. We're building that temple, taking out those incense, those altars, and those things like that. And, I'm looking at like literal, in a literal sense, and a spiritual sense too. It's that false philosophy. It's literally the bull Apis, another god, and it's wrong. We're likened unto a temple, and we have to purge those things out of us too, and really come to the truth. And who has the whole truth? Because again, he said he's going to return. Uh, they will know all things, the followers of Hamashiach, so he's going to give them that wisdom and knowledge, and they will know all things. I'm just going verbatim, you know, uh, possible bar. I'm just trying to say what I'm saying. Yeah. So I mean, they do know all things. They did good, and reincarnation is real. I mean, because keep in mind when Yahweh Shai asked Peter, he said, "Who do they say that I am?" They said, "Some say you're Jeremiah, some say you're Isaiah, some say you're the prophets of old. And he said, who do you think I am? He says, you're that Mashiach, you know, the anointed, the son of the heavenly Father. You know, so even then, you know, by that statement, they understood the concept of reincarnation. And just like, you know, when Paul was talking about, you know, you're building up judgment for yourselves on the day of wrath. You know, I mean, that they knew that that was a future thing to come, you know, and, you know, it's real. Like even now, 1 Corinthians 5:5, you know, he said, deliver such a one unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh, that the spirit may be saved in the day of the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach. Paul was talking about in the future of Yahushua HaMashiach, you know, so either way, you know, these are things I just wanted to touch on right now. I am studying a lot. I'm not at the level of Great Millstone, but I wanted to make as many as I can, videos as I can. It's actually real therapeutic for me, but that's not why I'm doing it. It's really, I'm pro truth. Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. That's why. I mean, now it's a wonderful thing. Um, anyways, I'm gonna post a video. It's something simple. I mean, I've been watching a lot of evidence, but I'm not as good as everybody else making videos. But I have evidence. I have evidence that Mexicans are Hebrew. I mean, because it's Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans that have the Israelite gene, and I have evidence of it. There's so much more so, but I'm put something simple just so you guys can see. I mean, man, spoke Hebrew. I mean, you know, 12 tribes have been scattered. It's, you know, some Mexicans, you know, tribe of Judah is working, man. It's your kin. It's your kin. I know the LA camp has got it going on, but I just, you know, it's your kin, you know. So Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, the 12 tribes are within the three groups. Just they're in the three groups: Jamaicans, Haitians, Puerto Ricans, I believe Cubans, Mexicans, Native Americans, and so on and so forth. But I have evidence, just something to open your mind. Because again, you know, if you don't speak on the truth, I mean, spiritually, you become dead. You know, nobody told me, but I feel alive just knowing the truth. And you know, honestly, it's a beautiful thing. You know, so anyways, I just wanted to share that, and I'm gonna do more study. I'm gonna, you know, watch a breakdown of Genesis and things like that. But yeah, the whole point was, you know, everybody keeps saying, oh, the defense of Israel, and you know, that's why I brought up that the whole thing of the temple, because Israel's here, and they're the third temple, and we need to purge those philosophies and the literal bull god Apis, Serapis Christus, Christ. You know, we got to purge that out of people. You know, and really, it's only for the people who Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai puts a spirit on them to care, because that's how it works. Um, so, anyways, I hope this was edifying. I'm gonna try and do things that are only more edifying. And honestly, I wish I could travel. But either way, you know. And you know what's crazy? I've been studying this history about like the elite's been covering that up, hiding the truth. You know, and it's BS. And you know, again, I know that they get pissed off about talking about chiefly Israelites. You know? Anyway, uh, anyways, with that, I want to say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Allah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, double honors to all the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and all the Hakim that are pushing the word of truth and sincerity. Then I'm going to say Shalom. And I hope I get better at this.